I could find all the weightings and everything, but you have to have it set up. So go to your Math 10C Power Teacher, however you get there. And I will go like this. Sorry, I better start the recording. Oh, I did. Yeah. Okay, so the thing you want to look at is settings. And so I did not have this STEMS outcomes grade calculation. Okay. So Emily, you check yours. You probably did back from Centennial to stay saved. Did you have this?
I have it.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Jamili, if you don't have it, you go to settings, display settings, and that's where you have to click off. It won't be clicked here, show STEMS outcomes. So make sure it's in there, then you can go there. So when you go there, because I was already in 10C, it'll come up to the class you want. There's default calculation. I think because we are doing just 2 assessments, so go to settings and then to the STEMS outcome grade calculation. We could have none and then set up 50-50 in the number of scores, or we could do mean because we're just doing 2.
Right.
If we do none, then I think we have to do the next thing, the number of scores. It's defaulted to 3. But I put in 2 because I had none. I think you could have it both. If I do mean, it's going to do the same thing, right? So either one of those, either mean in default calculation or make it 2 scores 50-50. Because that's kind of what we decided, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, I guess if we decided it wasn't 50-50,
we can go in and change it. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because in here, yeah, so like how many recent scores to include. So you could have 5, but it's going to take them, like if you only have 2 in there, it's only going to take the most recent 2, right? So we're just going to do 2 because we're going to have a test and a midterm. And then you don't click off anything else. We don't have higher level STEMs or anything, so just save on that. If it do mean, but if it's none, you have to do this. Yeah, just in case. I didn't test back and forth because it was taking me long enough anyway. So save it and then save the changes. And then we have to set up our overall calculation. So go back to settings and final grade calculations. So yours will say, I'll do it for my 10 gate because I've already set up the other ones. So it'll say no overall grade calculator. So start at T1 on the pencil on the right is the edit. And you want to calculate the overall class. That's what it goes to. So click on that. And then we're going to do a mixed. So that means we're going to start with outcomes weightings. And for this one, we have to put, we don't put mean. This is what I wasn't sure about. We have to put the specific weights because that means it's going in to use the CBE specific weights of each outcome. It's not the assessments. So then the plus on the right, we'll add another one. And so category weighting. And you might not have, for this, Emily, because you might not have a category set up. So Steph and I would have one in there for final exam.
Yeah, I don't have final exam.
Yeah.
What is our final exam? Is it 20 again?
It's 20. So why don't you just choose one of those for now? Because we can change that. Yeah. And so then make this 80-20 or 8-2, whatever you want, 80-20. I did notice in the information yesterday, Steph, what they have to put in that survey is the 2 options. Are you using proficiency scale? Are you using outcomes and a 90-10 ratio? Ours is 80-10. We're just going to say we're doing that version, right? Okay, so then copy it into S1 so that it's done. Because if you forget now, then you'll probably forget. Yeah, save. And then, so you can, that we,
Specific weights and then
category weighting for final, yeah. And so you can just copy that, like you have 2 classes, so you can copy it to lots, right? To your other classes. But Emily, for you, we're just going to copy that from T1 to S1. You could re-enter it, but like, why bother if you could just copy it? So if you do that wheel, do you? There is, and the only reason I know that because one time I entered the second part different from the first, and then it was messing things up. So that wheel says copy final grade. So for you and me, we're going to do that within a class. Steph might do it to another class because she has 2. And then on the drop down, you'll look for the one that you, yeah, 10, yeah, for you 10C. And then reporting term, we just entered, and you can tell it says mixed weightings because we just did it. And then to what class, we're going to go to S1. There shouldn't be only one option there anyway. Click it, and then you're going to validate that. And then it says it's unable to copy standard weights, but it does, so don't worry. Just copy again at the bottom. The green means go. And you should see it looks mixed weightings for both, so you kind of know that you've, unless you did something different, it's in there. Okay, so we're set. That's set up. What I've realized, or what I've done, is I'm just going to actually sign out of this and go into that test site that I have. So hope I didn't close it. There it is. Just to show you, I entered what could be, you know, how we enter our assessments, and I entered some marks and stuff like that. So give me a sec here.
So going add assignment.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So what I first was thinking. Yeah. While we're here, exactly. So what I first did was, okay, our test next week has 3 outcomes, right? And I thought, well, maybe I'll do test 1, outcome this, test 1, you know, like 3 separate. Then I realized, no, that's very confusing. So 1 test. So here's my test number 1. If you look at the bottom. Well, I guess A and 1 and 2 are together as a weighting, right?
We don't even use that.
True.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah. So in any case, so if I edit this so you can see what it looks like. So I had put this in, so really the category doesn't matter anymore. So I put it in one of the ones that CBE just has in there.
Oh, and then like observation.
Yeah, I put it in products because products observation is defaulted. Yeah, and so yeah, it'll be inactive. So you can go back to your assignments and make it active. But I chose just products because now we don't have categories, right? And then I just chose a date. I put it because I'm going to enter. I think we should enter them as percents, just to like to 2 decimal places. So, and I know you sometimes enter and convert to a percent. I just find them calculus. We'll worry about that later, but I just put percent out of 100. I put count in traditional, so that might be deselected. And then STEM's outcomes is where you go, okay, this test has, 2 different parts to it. So you've got to scroll, I think they're the first ones, and click off. They're not? Okay. Oh, measurement, yeah. So look for A and 1, 2, and A and 3, and then say, and then.
Sorry, am I supposed to go on one thing?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. We're creating an assignment. Sorry, I should go back here. So I forgot to do that. So you click this plus button to create an assignment.
Okay, so I just go into grading, but then we're going to go into after grading.
Uh, you can go anywhere actually. So if you're in grading and assignment list, that plus is always up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, plus assignment list. So you can call this. I'm going to go back to show you what I called it.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I thought you were just trying to make it.
Test number one. So we can change. You can always change the name, like, but I grouped that because those are the two ways we're entering numbers. So yeah, Steph, we don't need to have three different numbers on our test. Two. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's okay. I forgot too. I was looking on the weekend. Yeah, so Emily, just choose products. We're having it on well, actually, we're having it on the 19th, aren't we? I mean, this isn't my real one, but anyway. Then I chose drop down percent. I made it out of 100 and click count. Then go to stems and outcomes and look for and 1, 2, and 3. Click those.
Uh, oh, okay. It had two different sides. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think yeah. Once you've clicked it, it just goes to this one. Yeah, and then publish. Just make sure. Well, I want it to be immediately when I go in there, but sometimes the published scores might be unselected or deselected. Turn them on. So okay, perfect. Okay, so that. Oh, you can wait to turn on the marks. Yeah. So just make those are done, and then save and close. Okay, so you can just see I entered a whole bunch there. It'll look like I didn't enter any marks. So that's what's kind of weird, right? If I go to, so now if you want to enter the marks, I often, like this won't mean anything to you, but Steph, I would go to score sheet sometimes and I would just enter the marks there. But now it's by assignment, it's not by outcome. You get that? So it's test number one is only in there once, so I can't enter it from there. But if I go to the actual assignment and click on, just click on it, then you can enter. So you can see I've put marks in there. Okay, but this
calculate properly.
it did what it was interesting. I did. I checked.
So then when you go to assignment list, what is it? Or no, when you go to score sheet.
Well, yeah. So then I go to score sheet.
And then I can show you.
And then, so you can't see anything in here, but you can see the overall mark.
Right.
But it took me a while to get that overall mark. So that's what, once you enter, we're going to, it wasn't a clear way of finding it to calculate that. So one thing, sometimes it's through the wheel recalculate. But what I did, because I did it on the weekend, then I went in this morning because I knew we were doing this, and the overall mark wasn't in there. I'm going, what? And so then what I did was I actually, I think I went to grading, STEM's outcomes grades, and I recalculated. So that's where you can see in each outcome the average, because we're averaging. I think I did a recalculate there maybe. Or another thing I did was I did students and I went to, I think I went STEM outcomes or something. Well, I'll get to the same place. I think I had to calculate, I recalculate within that.
No, back up.
Whatever
We're
reason.
looking at STEM outcomes.
Grading, yep, STEM's outcomes grades, yeah.
And it shows me all of them already. Is it going to average it once we have 2 marks in there?
Yeah, this is with 2 marks, and that's the correct average.
2 marks,
yes.
Average when you're looking at the STEM outcomes grade.
Yes.
So when they only have 1 grade in there, it'll show them that grade, and then when we do their midterm,
it'll average it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it seemed like I probably.
And they will have to go to the assignment list to see both individual grades.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you what it's. So that's basically, that's how we set it up. And we can talk as we do it. I'm going to show you a report of what report Q, just so you can have an idea. So I think I did it. Yeah, it's my Saturday night. That was really pathetic, but anyway. I don't have a life anymore. literally it wasn't supposed to take me that long, but I had to watch videos and figure out where is that, why I didn't have those on there. So this, I don't know, do you ever print like an individual report?
Yeah, we never used to grade this way, so I've never done this.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
But
so
yeah, I printed that.
printed it, yeah. So it used to be shorter, now it's longer. So basically, this STEM outcomes grade, that will be the average. So that's like the overall. And then down here in the next assignment scores, you'll see, okay, so for midterm, like I didn't enter all the marks, but for midterm 3, it shows all the 3 outcomes, and there are the 3 different marks that were included in midterm 3. And so that's how it shows it. That's why when I looked at this, when I had a 3 assignments for each midterm, because there's 3 entries, it just got like absolutely huge. But yeah, that's what it's going to look like. And then that continues down till you're done. Um, and then a summary will say that's where it'll be 0, right? Because it's not doing it by points. So you can actually take off when you're clicking, if you wanted to ever print these, click that off and not have it in there.
So I have to do my
Well, no, I think,
I did mine points out of 100.
oh yeah, points out of 100
Is that
is
gonna
fine.
show points?
Out of 100. Because this really,
When we're looking at this screen though, mine won't be under grade, they'll be under points.
no, it'll still convert it. Points and percent really in PowerSchool are the same. It's whether when you convert it back and forth, and that's, I don't know what it is. But yeah, if we didn't, then I think it would still do the mean just because of that other thing. But
I prefer when it's in percentage.
yeah,
I always convert it.
I have a better sense, especially when I'm not sure, like, does that make sense that they have that mark? Yeah. So that is basically how I think it'll work. As far as tonight and talking about, I looked through some of those documents, like I get an email about outcomes and talking to parents and stuff like that. It's the standard line. It's going to make the kids know where they have to improve and all that kind of stuff, which I don't know how much it is. Like, I don't think we really have to focus too much on it, except from the course outline, I would say, like, either have it projected or talk about it.
If you are unable to provide yourself lunch, you forgot your lunch, please come see us in the main office. Thanks.
Talk about how maybe if they've had a sibling in previous years, we grouped the outcomes and had averages of all the tests, cumulative exams, final exam. Now we're having similar tests, but we're recording using the CBE system outcome weighting.
You're talking to me about tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we'll still have a final exam. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just read like terminology in my head.
Yeah, so in terms of outcomes, just you can even say refer to the course outline. But basically, the midterms that we're having, we have 3, right? When you look at it, the scores on the midterm for each of the system outcomes will be averaged with their scores on the unit test.
Okay.
And if they ask, well, doesn't that make less time or whatever? We haven't talked a lot about it, but cubes we will give them a little bit extra time because it's on a little bit. It's on more topics. It's not more questions. But yeah. And then really not to do with outcomes, but for 10C, just talk about this course is a course that leads to 20-2 and 20-1. Both lead to university.
Here.
Yeah, and you have that in the PowerPoint, right? Yeah.
So,
Okay. 2 million, I'm signing off.
So